Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it on the short notice, but I've learned something in the last 2 days that literally for me, someone who like many others has spent 2 long years working on the RNC, going through the tough dialogues and debates and arguments as a community that we've had to get to this point. And now with everything going on, much of it out of our control, I'll admit, um, it's been frustrating. But what I learned in the last 2 days was literally so shocking to me that my normal inclination is to, when I find new things, I come immediately to you. This was so big and impactful that I had to take 2 days to, one, make sure it was real, and then two, figure out what do I do with this, because I don't want to make situations worse. But the RNC right now is not an autopsy to figure out what went wrong and why Charlotte lost it. The RNC is a body that's on life support. It's very much close to being an autopsy, but it's not too late for us to save it. And for me, it's always been about one thing, but never more so than now. We've got over 10,000 small businesses that are just reeling right now. We've got hospitality workers in that industry that are reeling, and they need this shot in the arm. We're already seeing news stories of businesses close. So we have to figure this out. If it's at all possible, we all have to operate in good faith to make it happen. And good faith is a premise that we've all kind of been operating, that our leaders have been doing on our behalf to make that scenario happen. I'm not saying things need to be, occur at all costs and regardless of safety. I'm also saying that safety is the only factor, that we're better safe than sorry, and just say, don't worry about the economic impact. So I just want to make that real clear. So before I tell you what I've learned, and I honestly don't know what else to do other than share it and hopefully let the cards fall where they may, I want to tell you what the real scenario is right now. The real scenario is, while there are marathon conversations between the lawyers and the leaders of all the parties in the contract to try to figure this out, it is more than likely heading towards a path at a best case scenario right now where everyone figures out how to not get sued essentially by having a convention here. But the definition of that convention is going to be something probably very different than what we imagined before. It's probably going to be something, and I'm talking from my personal opinion, not where this is headed. I think this is where it's headed. It's probably going to be something where on Tuesday and Wednesday of the convention time, there's business meetings held, probably a lot of them virtual at this point. And then what we're probably going to see, and this isn't breaking any news because Trump's already said this, the president and the vice president are not going to physically be here, and likely another city that is going to welcome this with open arms and try to negotiate in good faith to make sure health and economic impact is balanced, is going to get the Thursday stuff. And that's when all the economic impact that our small businesses and that our hospitality industry needs is going to go. It's going to go somewhere else. We're going to have gone through 2 years of pain, and we're going to have none of that economic impact that we need so desperately right now to show for it. So operating in good faith, these leaders should be able to figure something out and help us get where we need to go, right? So I want to show you first the premise of what this is all about for me, and where this kind of starts. Just so this is because there's going to be a lot of people that immediately start to debunk everything and challenge everything. So let me lay this story out for you just like this. And I'm going to pop this up on the screen. This is from the Charlotte Observer today, and it is a quote from yesterday, right? And many people have assumed that this was a stalemate because neither side would really budge from, depending on which side you were on, the side you thought was fair. So this was what we've heard constantly for the last 2 weeks and beyond from Governor Cooper. And this was from yesterday, Thursday, a press conference he had. We want the RNC convention in North Carolina, Cooper said. We want to make sure that it is held in a safe way to protect the health of North Carolinians. I was told by the president that he insisted on a full arena, 19,000 people inside the Spectrum Arena with no masks and no social distancing. We had to guarantee they could do that by the end of August. Obviously, the state of North Carolina cannot guarantee a full arena in August, Cooper said. We don't know what the virus will be at that point. So obviously, that's what we all know the storyline has been. That's been the angle we've all assumed. Cooper's operating in good faith. Dang it, Donald Trump, dang it, RNC and Ronna. They're just saying, well, all right, let us have everything we want. I've been arguing for the last 2 weeks that they've actually been indicating that they want to be flexible. The letter that Ronna sent out said, well, you've asked us for our practices, so let's give you a few. We know this isn't going to be everything you want, but is this a olive branch to maybe then you come to the table and say, all right, well, I need more, but how about I give you this? And they go back and forth and they figure out a way to make it work out. And I'll read you a comment on my Facebook page that represents a lot of them when I was arguing this earlier today, just from today. The quote was, the argument is you can't guarantee it now with no restrictions. So that premise is where we're in this gridlock. So allow me to share a piece of new information that literally, and I'm going to try to do this as calmly as I can. There's a lot going on right now, and I haven't been the best of me, but I've also been as passionate as I can about finding solutions. So I'm going to try to be as calm as I can, because this is probably going to frustrate you when you see this the way it frustrated me. So let me share in 2 weeks ago in a meeting, 2 weeks ago in a meeting, what was said from Ronna McDaniel directly to Governor Cooper. And here it is, just so we're all crystal clear. Ronna offered as a concession, she said, how about if we explore this and we were willing to do this? Would you be willing to do some stuff for us? 1, we will require temperature checks. Would you be okay if we did that? 2, we'll require testing on the same protocol as the White House. 3, we'll do regular sanitation fogging. 4, masks will be required at all events except for Trump's acceptance speech, where it will be optional, and we can promote it, that it will be as such. And 5, we're contractually obligated and allowed to have 19,000 attendees. What if we took that to 9,000, under 10,000, cut it under half? Would that be something that you could work with us on, that you could find some common ground and maybe we could get to a point? Soak that in right there for a second. Governor Cooper said no. Governor Cooper didn't say, all right, well, maybe, he said, no, sorry, can't work. And they went their separate ways. And for the last 2 weeks, we've heard the same storylines. So before I close this out, let me address those that are going to try to debunk this, because they will sacrifice anything, including our small business, including our hospitality industry, just to hurt this president. And these are my opinions. These aren't from anywhere else. I will tell you that I spent the last 2 days validating and verifying everything I've said. Okay. So I feel was I in that room? No, I was not, but I feel very confident in what I've said. So let's go through these questions that we know, the commonly asked questions, frequently asked questions. What are they going to be? They didn't say that, Tariq. You can't know that. I have done my homework and I believe this to be true. Is there some sliver of an angle where it isn't true? I wasn't there, but I feel highly confident based on what's said to me. If something else comes out that makes me see that that wasn't the case, I will back that up. But let me just make a real simple response to that. Go ask Ronna McDaniel. People in the press, whatever, go ask Ronna. Did you do that? That's all I can say there. It's the best. 2, Cooper didn't flat out deny their proposal, Tariq. There were more factors that were still risky. And that, even though that sounds good, you know, we can't guarantee this or that, or is 9,000 the right number, or whatever. All I'm going to say to that is, well, then negotiate. Don't say no. Come back and say what was wrong. If you're truly, truly operating in good faith, come back and say what was wrong and say, well, could you do this? Not just say no, especially when someone has almost completely offered you what you asked for. And also the secondary answer to that is, then why would he have kept on the same talking point for 2 weeks after that? A talking point, and let me just go back just so we're all crystal clear one more time now that you know that information. Let me go back to what he said yesterday in a press conference. And again, I'll draw your attention back to yesterday. I was told by the president that he insisted on a full arena, 19,000 people inside the Spectrum Arena with no masks and no social distancing. We can't guarantee that. Again, he said that yesterday, and he was offered a concession as an option 2 weeks ago. That's bad faith. And then why didn't the RNC make this public already, Tariq? This looks pretty damning. Why are you just finding out about it in the last 2 days? Why didn't they talk about it literally 2 weeks ago? I don't know the answer to that. I've got some theories in my mind, but I guess the question is this: what would you do? You know that President Trump is a negotiator. You know that he tries to get outcomes and he makes statements to do things and he achieves these things. Whether you love or hate him, he is a negotiator. And he's made a public statement, we're going to do all or nothing. And some believe that's just inflexible or whatever. I personally believe it's a negotiation tactic to then drive towards an acceptable outcome to him, to the RNC, to others. So the bottom line is, if you were flexible behind the scenes trying to make something happen and you were taking a posture publicly on it, and that flexible request was turned down, would you want to go broadcast that out there and show weakness during something that literally someone's dug in? I'm not saying that's how I would have handled it. I'm just saying there's an explanation if you're wondering why I'm the one breaking this 2 weeks later and why this hasn't made its way out. Quite frankly, I wish this has been out 2 weeks ago. I wish I'd have known, because I am so furious. And then finally, what does Cooper stand to gain by not negotiating, Tariq? That doesn't make any sense. Why would he do this? Like, what does he benefit? He's battling multiple fronts just like we all are right now. Why would he just simply do something so illogical like that? And again, I don't know this, but here's the most logical explanation I've heard. And that is this: Governor Cooper is being pressured immensely right now by people, and I'm just repeating rumors. There's no facts about this whatsoever. I just want to say, but the rumors that I'm hearing that seem logical to me are Joe Biden and that campaign, Democratic Governors Associations, the DNC, all the folks that know this is a presidential election year are leaning on Cooper every day, multiple times a day, to play ball and do what's necessary there. And he's going down that path, it feels like to me, at the expense of small businesses, at the expense of a reeling hospitality industry, and at the expense of many, many moderate people out there across this state that are just assuming he's operating in good faith. That's just not acceptable. So I've got a call to action right now. If you question any of those things, press, go ask Ronna. See what she says. I don't know what she's going to say, but I'm assuming, based on what I've heard, that this happened, and Ronna is a transparent person who's going to say what she thinks. But here's the call to action. Ronna, Mr. President, please, I am so sorry that this has happened to you. Please stay at the negotiation table. This is not over. Please don't react to this in a bad way that now this is out there. Please react to this in a way where logical people across North Carolina and Charlotte are going to look at this and they're going to say, that was the right thing to do. Ronna, the RNC, Trump was looking out for small business. They were looking out for our hospitality industry. And while they made some statements publicly, behind the scenes, they were trying to make a deal happen for us. There will be no weakness in that. We will all appreciate it greatly. So my ask there is please, please, humbly, please come back to the table. We have businesses that have already closed that are in the newspaper today and yesterday that have said, I was hanging on by a string. And then when I heard from these protests that have gone violent at night to the RNC isn't coming, I had to make the decision to close up shop. That is going to keep happening here more and more, to the chance where our uptown could end up becoming something that's going to take us years to recover from. We need you now. And to Governor Cooper, please, I know I've been hard on you right now. I don't know anything else to do, because if this was after the fact and this was a election year tactic by me to say, vote this guy out, well, you know what? One, that isn't my style. I don't do that. But two, I'm coming to you because it's not too late. This is not an autopsy. This is a body on life support that you can come back to the table. Please, sir, no matter what pressures there are out there on you, please help us as a state and as a city, because we need you right now. We're losing our small businesses. And this is going to be an event that is going to escalate that incredibly. And to every person out there, every business owner, every voter, every contributor, every person that's a member of a nonprofit or a church or whatever it is, get out there and put the maximum amount of pressure on Governor Cooper that you can for him to come back to this table and start operating in good faith. Thank you.